there's a life I could have known, one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I have today. Times gone by, I've traded black dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. I took a walk one street over from my home, cracked and broken asphalt everywhere. I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I love today. One street over there's
Hello. This is 1100 WSGI. Welcome to it. This is One Street Over. I'm Utah LaVern, and yes, this is an opportunity to find out what's going on one street over from where you're living. Welcome, and welcome to Constitution Day. All right. Did I get it right, Becky?
You did.
Okay, you got to get up on that microphone for me.
Okay.
Scooch up on there. But Becky Wall is with me for the second time in a week. We had some wires crossed last week, and you popped in last
I did
Wednesday.
get up very early to come here, yes.
Yes,
but
and I'm so sorry.
no,
that
it was all my fault. It was all my fault.
It's no problem. I'm
Yep.
just glad that we were able to. We have been we've been packed.
Yeah.
With guests and stuff, and we just haven't had a lot of openings. I've been needing to get my AFS folks in here about our kiddos that are foreign exchange students and stuff. And I mean, let me get through the fair and we'll do that. But we got the fair going on,
Yes.
Opened up last night. I heard they had a great crowd. I didn't get there last night. I'm planning on getting there Thursday for a little bit. I was like, okay, I'm going Thursday. But then I remembered, well, we've got a football game Thursday night.
Oh, goodness.
And it's like, there's just so much going on. But it's wonderful because we're so blessed. But today is Constitution Day. And I want to tell you, if it had not been for you, it would have been off my radar.
Yes.
Constitution Day and Constitution Week.
Yes.
And because I know you and Debbie Keenan and what they did in I can't remember the name of the publication. I don't think they're doing it anymore. But they had put the Constitution in their little news magazine. Let's Talk Trash, I think. I can't remember. But anyway, I need to call Debbie and see how she's doing. But they had put this publication out that had the Constitution in it every year. And they did that for several years here in the county. And so last year we did a video project in my class for Constitution Week. This year it kind of snuck up on me and we were busy with other things, but what we did do, and I think this was actually more impactful and is going to have a better response. We have a feature called Ask a Bobcat. And we go into the lunchroom, and I have my little, I was telling you about Natalie, Rios Mendoza. She's my little reporter. And she goes and just asks them questions, little survey questions. You know, we asked them the other day about what's their favorite thing at the fair. And then we went yesterday and said, we just started asking them Constitution questions, you know, like how long does a senator serve?
Yes.
And, you know, those kinds of things. And how many signed the Constitution? What was the average age of those who signed? Fun things like that.
Yeah.
And if they got it right, they got a little piece of candy.
Oh, all right.
And then if they got it wrong, we had them put up in the on the bottom the answer.
Yeah.
Now it moves pretty fast because this is a little short segment, but we had so much fun with it.
I bet you did.
I bet you did. With it, and it was just so many people don't even realize it's Constitution Day.
That's true. And I find when I talk to people, they don't realize that it's Constitution Week all week, and today is Constitution Day. And so I'm trying to make sure that people understand that it is Constitution Week. It's an important time in our history, and I'm doing everything that I can do to do that.
And I appreciate it so much. And we got the lowdown. I was wondering what happened with the ringing the bells, and I found out it's because of the courthouse.
Yes.
And they're in session.
That's
and so
right.
because, you had told me that got canceled.
Exactly.
I was like, well, I wonder what happened. Well, Mayor Vogel filled me in yesterday and said it was because of they're in court.
Right.
And
That's true.
And so,
And I could have done it somewhere else in the county, but I really wanted the bell ringing to happen at the courthouse and do it there. So I told Mayor Vogel, I'm going to try it again next year.
Absolutely.
Yes. So,
absolutely.
But there's an awful lot more going on in our county for Constitution Week. I have put up displays. I have one at the at Stokes Brown Library.
Right.
Have another one at the city building where you get your taxes done and things like that. There's a little display there just to remind people going in and out of different places.
Right.
This year, I got permission to go into the schools during Constitution Week and talk about Constitution. I made a proposal to Dr. Weeks from the Board of Education, and he has allowed me to go into every fourth grade class while they're learning the Constitution. I gave them a teacher plan to hand out to all of the teachers. And what I try to do is make sure that it's fun when you're learning about the Constitution. It's not something historical and you've got to learn all the numbers and all the dates and things like that. I want you to feel the Constitution. So this year when I'm going to the classrooms, I'm talking about the preamble. Okay. So I read the preamble and then I take it line by line and tell you what those words mean. And for fourth graders, domestic tranquility doesn't make it into their brain. It's just words. And so I try to explain what it means and how it affects them. And so I've been going to all of the classrooms. I was in Greenbrier just the other day. kids in the auditorium.
Awesome.
And they were, I was amazed at how interested they were in it. They really were. And so I also read to preschoolers. I've gone to several little daycares and read a little bit about the Constitution to them. I feel like it's important for our kids to understand the Constitution. When they're children, it's like they're a sponge. They take in all of the information. And I'm hoping that one day in the near future, some kid will come up to me and say, I remember you told us about the Constitution when I was in the 4th grade, when I was in kindergarten, whatever. And that's what I like to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that'll happen. That'll happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only been teaching. I'm into starting my 4th year, and I've already got kids coming up that I had the, first year I taught that are saying things that, oh, you said this or that. They remember stuff. They
do.
If you want to influence the next generation, guys, get in the schools.
That's
Get
it.
in these schools.
That's it.
I'm telling that's where you you really change things and just really help them. But I just think it's such a wonderful program, and I'm so thrilled to see that you're doing that. I again appreciate how you've drawn it back to my attention.
Yeah.
And help me to remember the importance of it.
Oh, definitely. And I try to help other people remind people of it.
Yeah.
If you go by the historical museum, you will find a display for Constitution Week there as well.
Museum?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. And I believe that's the first year that they've done that.
Oh, that's great.
It is. I think so. I am all about the Constitution. In the DAR, I am the Constitution Week chairperson.
Right.
It's not just the week for me. I start doing things from July on through Constitution Week, and then I wrap everything up until October.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's very important to me.
I love it. I love it. And it is just such a big, it is something that we can't remind our kids enough about the importance of it. They don't really fully understand it.
That's
and
true.
We have to talk more about it.
That's true.
We asked the question about one of the questions, what are the term limits for senators and representatives? And they were all like, oh, this many years. And we're like, there's not any. And they were like, what?
Yep.
I'm like, yeah. That's always been something that I've always liked. I think we need to fix that. And then too, it opened up the conversations about how senators are elected.
True.
And they were not supposed to be elected. They were supposed to be appointed by the states. So they had the state's best interest and not the,
political interest.
Yes.
Yes.
And you talk about, those are the things like that have really messed with what the founders wanted.
That's so true. I try to tell kids that it affects each and every one of them.
Yes.
It's been affecting them since they were little, and it will affect them until they're no longer here. It's the law of the land that we live in. And I also remind them that it's the longest running constitution in the world, okay? And that because of that, I believe we are the greatest nation in the world. And I feel like the kids think that as well, but there's a reason for it. We have the Constitution that lays out how things are done, and it's changing. It can be changed as times change. I remind them during the Civil War, we had a lot of things about slavery, and we changed the Constitution to take care of that. We changed the Constitution when women didn't vote.
We amended it, right?
Exactly. And so we can change it. We don't want to change it to be like everybody else. We want to stay the United States of America. But as things change in our in our society, we have to make changes sometimes.
Right.
So it's just I try to make it very personal, and I hope that I do that. I feel like I do. The kids seem like they really, really enjoy it.
Well, and it's so funny because as we were asking these questions, it was when it occurred to me that we needed to do this for our news, because we do a newscast 3 days a week. And so I told him, I said, we need to do another, segment, our Q&A section, Ask a Bobcat, because it's tomorrow's Constitution Day,
Right.
and we need to do something on this. And so we started trying to compile questions and then opening up the conversations just about so many details of talking about amendments. And the importance of, what's the significance of the 19th Amendment? We talked
Right.
about that. What does it take to amend the Constitution?
Yes.
You have to have a convention of states and starting to have, and I mean, this is my broadcast class, but we're having these conversations
Yes.
that are reinforcing the conversations that they would have in their government classes and those kinds of things.
Right.
And so it was fun. It was fun because I've always found it fascinating. And
I do think that when it is fun, you learn more.
oh yeah, it sticks
Yeah,
with them.
it does. It really
with 'em.
does. And I applaud you for being able to do all of that. Bring it to the forefront. Make sure that it's out there. That's what I want to do. If we don't think about it, we lose an awful lot of who we are as an American. And to me, that's important.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
We're talking all things Constitution. This is Constitution Week. Today is Constitution Day. Becky Wall with the Daughters of the American Revolution. She is here to discuss all the important things. Mentioned all the displays that you can go around and see. Are you going to be visiting? You're saying you're popping into the fourth grade classes around the district. So do you have more to visit today, tomorrow, and Friday?
I don't have any today. I have more the end of this week, and then I have some even next week.
Okay.
Because Constitution Week for me is very busy. I can't get to everything, and so I've even got some for next week.
Okay.
So
very good.
yeah.
Now, is Constitution Week always the third week in September?
Constitution Week is actually always the 17th through the 23rd. It even goes over a weekend. It's a set time every year, 17th through the 23rd. Constitution Day is always on the 17th.
Okay.
And so far, as I've been doing Constitution Week, I haven't had a Constitution Day on a weekend. So, so I'm looking forward to that at some point. Yes.
Well, that's interesting. So we're really just at the start of it then.
We are.
Okay.
We are.
Very good. I don't think I realized that. I was thinking, you think about the structure of when they do these recognized days and stuff. So this is the first day of Constitution Week. This is Constitution Day.
That's
awesome.
correct.
Well, if I had realized that didn't click, and so I next year I'll get that right, because next year we had so many kids. It was so funny as we were putting this piece together rather hurriedly.
Yes.
We were working on it, and one of the kids said, "What if we miss Vivio if they get it wrong, or if we put up a couple of possible answers and then highlight it?" There's all kinds of things we can do with our video programs.
Yes.
And I was like, "Ooh, I like that idea."
Yes.
So next year we'll make a point to do that.
I did take a little test this morning on Facebook. They had a questionnaire about the Constitution. And it was 10 questions. I got 4 right.
No, Becky, say it.
Well, they were very
kind of obscure questions.
Well, no, I mean, numbers and things like that don't always click with me.
Oh, I
and
got
so,
you. I'm
yes.
teasing you.
But it made me aware that I could learn more about the Constitution, So and the kids, if they get them right, I am just tickled to death with that, because sometimes I have to still look it up. Yeah,
for sure. That's funny. And I get so tickled because it was so funny as we were going around the lunchroom yesterday and asking the kids. they'd get excited when they get it right, you know.
Oh,
And we had one,
exactly.
they kept asking the branches of government, and they would get the judicial and the legislative, but they'd forget executive.
Yes.
And there was this one little point in the video where one girl got one of them, the other girl got the other one. Then all of a sudden, another girl pops in from out here and gives them executive. It was just cute. It was just a lot of fun. We had so much fun with it.
Oh, and you know, it is heartwarming when you find that kids do remember some of these things. I mean, you know, it just makes you proud to be an American and proud to be able to talk to kids, to talk to your friends, whoever, about the Constitution. It is. It's amazing. It's an amazing document that has been there for over 200 years, and it's still there. And lots of other countries try to mimic it in theirs. They don't have it just perfectly right yet.
Well, obviously, because we're the oldest surviving. And I mean, that right there is such a testimony, because we're not an old country. I mean,
We're not.
If you study history, we're the fact that number one, that we've survived for, almost 250 years is amazing. And that our government has survived through Civil War, through the wars, the early wars of our founding, and through Vietnam, and through all the, the controversy and things that we have to deal with, from our, just the politics of it all. That's one thing. If you're going to run for a political office, you better brush up on the Constitution, because there will be somebody out on the campaign trail that will try to stump you up. Because I remember when I was running for Congress that, we had that person that followed us and would, grill us on constitutional questions.
And there you go.
I mean, and as they rightly, and the first time they popped up, we were all kind of like, uh-oh.
Yes.
None of us were ready.
Yes.
None of us were ready for, and I can't think of what it was he asked us, but it was something we should have known.
Yes.
We should have known. And especially if we're going to say, hey, put me in office.
Right. And that is true. I do believe that the people who serve our country need to know it.
Yeah.
Need to be, or at least be able to find it.
Yes.
And so you do have to study it.
Yeah.
You do. And I think fourth graders are, like I said, just sponges. They're actually wanting to know about it.
Sure.
And I love that. But even little bitty kids.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I love it. Now, I've got Ryan Martin's going to be popping in here in just a moment, so we need to make sure if there's anything else. Let me do a quick break here, and then we'll come back and reset, and you just think about anything that we haven't covered that we need to cover before we finish up our time together. We're talking with Becky Walsh. She's with the Daughters of the American Revolution, and we see her out and about and other things too, working with that. I'll see you whenever we do our citizenship award.
There you go.
Yeah,
We'll
see you for that.
That's right.
But I remember the first time y'all popped in, I'm like, I know y'all. I'm so surprised to see you there. But,
well, good.
It's all good. But let's talk about one of our sponsors. We're going to talk about the UPS store. You need to get by there. One of the things we always like to start with when we're talking about the UPS store is, what's the coupon this month? And let me just remind you, if you have a coupon from the UPS store here, our Springfield UPS store, it never expires as long as you have it with you. But they have the one that they give away. Like if you walk in today, you're going to get a coupon for 10% off wide format printing. And so that is one of those things, or prints. So that means you can get like great big pictures. I saw they had a display of this one guy, huge family portrait that he had printed. And so he was able to get 10% off of that this month. And so if you hang on to those coupons, again, they never expire, but the one we're focusing on in September is that 10% off the large format prints. So you can go by there and use that and get something beautiful printed, or you can go in there and talk to them about getting a mailbox. If you're tired of porch pirates, you can go in there. I go in there and get little gift items, and they have little flashlights and special pins and little things like that. I have a boy mama, and when it comes to trying to find gifts for my kiddos, they're kind of one of my stocking stuffer goes to. And before long, we're going to be doing that stocking stuffer. But UPS store has always been kind of one of my places where I get little stocking stuffers for my boys. And so I just, remind you of that. They always have great greeting cards, those kinds of things. But get by there. And also, this is where we drop off our Amazon packages. Cannot say enough. I had to pop in there. They're open 7 days a week now, and they've got hours to accommodate everyone. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 6:30. 8 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. Saturday, they're 9 to 5, and then Sunday, they're even open 12 to 5. I had to pop in there late Sunday, right before they closed, and just so courteous and kind, and, they had several people in there, but just so efficient, getting us in and out of there. I'm just so impressed with them. They have got just a great staff, and you will be greatly served if you go by there and just see what else they got going on, other than the place to drop off your Amazon packages. They can print anything, they can package anything, and they want to see you. This is the UPS store. They're at 513 Memorial Boulevard, when you get by there, please always let them know that U-Turn sent you. All right, Becky, what else do we need to talk about that we have not covered?
I believe we've covered most of everything. I have been obtaining proclamations from all of the mayors. Every mayor in Robertson County has provided us with a proclamation for Constitution Week. And to me, that tells me that the people who work for our county are still excited about the Constitution.
Absolutely. Mayor Vogel mentioned that yesterday.
Yes.
And that's how your name came up. Is I told him, I said, well, she's actually going to be in here tomorrow. So very good.
I was at the meeting the other night as well. And so I love Mayor Vogel. He is wonderful. He's always a sweetheart to our chapter,
right?
The DAR, and he's always willing to do whatever he can for us.
Well, don't y'all? If I may be having this wrong, y'all do the Christmas wreaths too, don't you? On the
Wreaths Across America. Yes, we do.
Y'all as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's been involved with that.
Yes,
at his little church.
Yes,
I feel like that's where we've talked about you guys as well.
Could be.
He mentioned that. Because that comes up. When do y'all do that at the end
December?
Of Y'all do it 1st of December, or does it?
I think it's the 13th of December.
Okay, I was thinking it was just maybe a little closer to Thanksgiving, but it's on around the 13th. Okay,
I think so.
So I'll see you again for that. Possibly.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, I would
talk about that.
I would love to. I would love
that's
to.
That's a wonderful event that y'all do. So very good.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Always.
I love being on your show, and I love being here for Constitution Week.
And thank you again. I cannot say enough that what you're doing is working.
Thank you.
You need to hear that, because you're out there working and reminding people what you're doing is working, because it would not have been on my radar had it not been for you.
Well, thank you so much for that.
I'm in the classroom, so.
I really do work hard at it, and I hope that people understand how important it is.
It is, very much so. And we get so many notifications about it's this day, it's this week, it's this. And, it's so hard to, and unfortunately, a lot of the things that are very patriotically driven and government driven do not get the limelight that some of the others do.
That is very, very true.
We have, my husband made a note of, well, this is popping up on my Google Calendar or my whatever calendar, but Constitution Week isn't. And that's a frustration.
Yes.
And so we need people like you out there reminding us, because unfortunately, those who control these things don't think it's important.
Yes.
I would love to know how people who don't appreciate the Constitution, they just don't really sit and think about what life would be like if they didn't live in a country with.
And I don't think about it every single day, but I really think about it during Constitution Week. Yeah. And I believe if you can do it 1 week, you're good.
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
Good.
I think so too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm assuming, he's here.
Okay.
Thank you as well. You got your chauffeur today?
Yes.
All right.
Got my chauffeur.
Very nice to meet you. And
Thank you so much.
God bless you. Thank you, Becky.
Okay.
And God bless. And remember the Constitution. We got a full week of it just kicking off today. So very good.
Thank you.
And as y'all make your way out, I'll let Ryan make his way in. We get to visit with City Manager Ryan Martin. Will be making his way in here. They had the mayor and alderman meeting last night. And so we love getting an update from him. Also, I want to talk about our wonderful sponsors, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. What's going on in the real estate market right now? You know, it's pretty busy. I mean, it seems to be very busy to me. It seems like every time I turn around, somebody's buying and selling something. We see a lot of for sale signs out there, people trying to sell their property. I got to be honest with you. They sit there a while unless they've got a good agent that's out there helping them market it and make sure that people are seeing it. When it comes to selling property, people look for property like they date, unfortunately. They swipe through listings. And if it doesn't pop off the page, you're liable to miss out on somebody that is looking exactly for what you have, because if you don't have that videography, the photography, the walkthrough tours, drone footage now, everybody wants it all. You can't really expect to get as much traffic to your property and it being seen by all that need to see it. Barry and Rebecca Richards, they're the whole package. With his marketing background, he can do all that I just mentioned. He is the broker here, and they have a Springfield office, and she has an agency office out in White House. Together, they make up Exit Prime Realty. They've been part of the Exit team from the very beginning when Rebecca first got involved in real estate. And they're there continually because it's a company that brings everything you need as a realtor to make sure that nothing's lost, and you've got the mentors, you've got the help, you've got all the support you need to make sure you're successful. And that's why we always remind you that if you're looking to go into real estate, talk to Barry and Rebecca, and they'd be glad to mentor you. Barry has been famously quoted as saying, but I might talk you out of it, because I'm going to be super honest with you and make sure you understand all the nuances and what's expected, and make sure it's right for you, because it's not for everybody. But boy, it is for the Richardses. They have done it for a long time, and they do it beautifully. All kinds of awards and accolades. Barry and Rebecca Richards, they are cross-Plainians. They've been up in Robertson County now for 30 years, about the same time I got here. But we're originally from Kentucky, and so that means they understand what it is to have property in Kentucky, work in Tennessee, the extra income tax that you have in Kentucky. They'll help you make sure you don't forget that when it comes to your bottom line and how much home you can afford. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty. Connect with them at sellwithbecky.com. You can get them at sellwithbecky.com or buy BUYRobertsonCounty.com. And I'd give you her phone number, but it's not popping up right here for a second. I'll get it here in just a second. You know, sometimes the internet just lets you down. 615-504-7425. You'd think I'd do it off the top of my head, and I kind of can, but, you know, you just want to double check. But it's 615-504-7425. That's Rebecca's number. Reach out to him today and let them know U-Turn sent you. Ryan Martin's in the house. How are you doing,
Good
sir?
morning. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing really well.
Good.
Doing really well. I'm ready for
vacation?
fall. Huh?
Do you have a good vacation? I think you were on vacation last
Well,
month,
I was
or
I
2 months
think
ago,
it was-
maybe.
I was in Mexico on the mission trip.
Okay, how'd
We
that
take
go?
it, beautiful. It's just
Really?
I've got people that are my family down there. I've been going. Oh my goodness, I've been. I think it's about 10 years now I've been going. So you just get so close to folks down
Yeah.
there.
So you see the same people. You go back to the same
Yes,
place.
I go back. We go to El Rosario, that's halfway down the Baja Peninsula,
Okay.
and we have a church there that we've established, and we do a clinic out of there, and I get to do optical. And
wow.
everybody's like, I didn't know you had an optometry background. I'm like, I don't. I've been taught to, you know, the donated glasses you give to the Lions Club and things like that.
Sure.
We get those read to where we know what the prescriptions are, and we have just so many glasses down there. We stockpile, and then we have a refractor, a field refractor. We put you on, we get your prescription, and we match you up. And so I help fit glasses and those kinds of things. It's just the neatest thing I get to do.
Wow.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. But I've been doing it for a while now.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And now Mark got to build a house.
oh, okay.
You know, he went down with us. He's gone 2 years now, and he got to build a house. So now that he's working in the school district and has summers off, he can get that time off. We just love it. We just absolutely adore it. But that's where we were. And we're actually getting ready. We're going down in spring break just for a vacation down there.
Okay.
Because they have a place just south of El Rosario, and this is all on the Baja Peninsula.
Uh-huh.
Just south of El Rosario, there's a little village where the whales come in and have their babies around spring break.
Huh.
Oh, I've got video footage that my friend went down there, Ilda, and she went, and it's wonderful. And I told her the other day, I called her and I said, we're coming spring break. And so we're already making plans, you know. So, yeah, we're going to go down there for vacation.
really
We just
neat.
love it. We just love it down there. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
If you've never spent any time in Mexico in the villages and really met the people and get out of the resorts, you know, you just they're beautiful people. Just it's a neat place.
It's where the real experience is.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is. If you want to go, let me know. I can take you. I can make arrangements through Baja Missions.
Gotcha.
Baja Missions. We've got like 23, 4, 5 churches down there. I forget how many. And we go down the peninsula, and we need to talk about your stuff. But just real quick, if you're curious about it, the City of Children is in Ensenada, and it was a place that's taken in children for over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to thinking, what can we do? Because people would give their children over to the orphanage because they could not take care of them.
Wow.
You know, and these kids would grow up, you know, seeing their parents some, but they were just trying to feed them.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, what can we do to where they won't have to bring their kids to us? And then
Right.
some were true orphans too. And they said, what if we try to improve the communities? And so from the inside out, they put churches together, they start doing clinics, and the incredible difference it's made in these cities all down the Baja is breathtaking. And I just can't say enough about it. But if you want to be a part of it, I can plug you into Baja Missions. But it's like I would come back from there and be like, okay, that's what we need to do here. And then, of course, as I've been sitting at this desk, I'm seeing how we're doing it with Open Door and Casa and
Sure.
Isaiah House and Safe Baby Court and who have I missed? You know, all those things.
Fortunately, there's so many that
We've
are doing
got-
good work, right?
Yes, and
That's
we're
right.
doing that here.
Mhm.
So what we're doing in Mexico, we can do here, and you change it from the inside out. Being in the schools, I keep telling, you know, retired people, get in the schools, go drive a bus, go be a sub. Heck, can you teach?
Yeah.
Retire into teaching. Oh my goodness, it will bless you greatly, and you help change our community from the inside out. So, yeah, that's where I was. So, but anyway, it's
What
good
about
to see you.
security? Good to see you too. What about security down? I mean, or safety wise, is it not where you are? It's not.
I don't worry about it at all. I got to be honest with you. We had some things going on in the community that we serve that were a little bit concerning, but it's just like it happens here. It's like here you have this precious woman from Ukraine who came to America for safety, and she was killed on a bus.
Whatever can happen here happens. It can happen there. And
Absolutely.
I gotcha.
And typically it's thought the cartel, who is a problem down there, they don't really want to mess with American citizens.
Oh, okay.
You know, because honestly, the wrath. I mean, you know, usually there's a retaliation. I mean,
gotcha.
they don't. America doesn't tend to ignore when you
Sure.
mess with their people.
Right.
You know, and so that's. I mean,
They just tend to
and
not
that's not
bother
to say
Americans.
that it has not happened. You know, bad, but that's the general consensus I get. I have a dear friend of mine. She has dual citizenship.
Okay.
Ilda, and she is just like a sister to me, and she is like, you know, it's just she feels just as safe in Mexico as she does in America, and
Yeah.
you know, she was an engineer here, and then she when she retired, she went to Mexico and got her dual citizenship. You know, built a little house on the Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow.
She's a pretty cool person, but she's like, you know. It's all good. It's all good. But there's crime, yeah. But you just pay attention to what you're doing,
Yeah.
and be smart, you know. And
Yeah.
when people say, "Hey, this area might be a little bit," you know, I wouldn't go into parts of Chicago. You
Sure.
could, you know, there's parts of Mexico that I'm not going to be in. We had a car accident in Tijuana, and everybody's like, "That sounds scary." The people couldn't have been nicer.
Really.
We got ran
Yeah.
over by a dump truck, ran over the back of our vehicle. That's been a few years ago.
Goodness.
So, but anyway, yeah, it's
Exciting.
fun. Yeah,
That's way more
so
exciting.
If you want to go to Mexico with me, let
Well,
me
you're
know.
talking me
I'll
into
take you
it,
down.
yeah.
It's fun.
It's-
It's fun.
That sounds really exciting. That's
So-
way more exciting than anything I have to talk about today. But
I'm hoping you don't have a huge agenda because I just took 10 minutes of your time
No.
talking about Mexico.
and we did have a long agenda last night, but a lot of that stuff was some routine business. Like 10 of the items I think were the code updates
Mm-hmm.
and what we do with regard to codes. If this affects anybody that's listening, because if you're a builder or if you are or building anything or developing anything or running a business with the new fire code and that sort of thing, we're required to be where the state is. And so the
Gotcha.
state of Tennessee just adopted the 2021 codes. including 2021 fire code, 2021 building code, and so forth. And so once they do that, then we have to follow suit. So we were previously on the 2018 code. I have absolutely no idea or how to list all the changes, but there are folks that know that, and there are publications out there to know what changed between the 2018 codes and the 2021 codes. Those are put out by the International Code Council, and those are adopted by the state of Tennessee, but there should be some good information out there. If not, I think our fire chief can probably answer some questions if anybody has any, questions about the fire code, excuse me, or, our codes administrator can probably answer some questions about the building code. I don't think that the changes were that material. I think there are just generally some updates to those codes, and hopefully they're not, too restrictive, but obviously they're in the interest of safety, I'm sure. So.
Gotcha. So nothing that's going to be like, what? Yeah, that you're
I hope
seeing.
not.
Yeah.
Nothing we've seen so far,
good
right?
deal.
Nothing we've seen so far. So that's
Very
good. The big topic on the agenda last night was sidewalks. So we've had a situation that arose downtown with a business owner.
Yes.
Yeah. So and I don't. You say, oh yeah. So you must. I don't do the social media aspect, so I don't.
Yeah.
So I don't know about all the chatter, but it turned in. Kind of the story was there was an interest in doing some things and putting some decorative items out downtown. The board discussed that. It kind of turned into more than the decorative items, and I think last month some of the members of the board kind of were a little uncomfortable going that far with downtown, so they voted that proposed ordinance down. The majority of the board did. Came back for discussion this past month, and last night the board kind of came to a consensus to kind of take that proposed ordinance that failed last month and scale it back to the decorative items and the sandwich board signs and things that really enable the downtown merchants to promote their business and and kind of maybe revisit these other items later, some of the other items that were a little bit of concern to some of the board members. That way they reach. And hey, that's what was cool about last night is you kind of seeing government work, right?
Right.
And so you had disagreements on kind of philosophies with some board members, and then kind of the discussion last night. They got to a consensus, right? And that's what, and I mean, I know that, and people want to say it was controversy. It was not much of a controversy. The board was going to come to a resolution, I believe, and I just think it was great to see that happen because we don't see that happen in other parts of government, right? Today, we don't see a resolution and people speaking and talking and saying, well, hey, I mean, I had an alderman say, well, I want to know what the board can go for, like what do you have concerns for, or what do you have concerns with, and what could you support? And another the vice mayor spoke up and he said, well, this is what I have concerns about, but this is what I could go for. And they came to a consensus, and it was good just to see that play out because we just don't see that.
I agree.
It's everybody in their corner, and and just kind of having a conversation about, because I think some of our board members made it clear, all of our board members, there's not a single board member that we have that is, against our growing our local economy or supporting our businesses. And they all made that clear. They just kind of, it rose to the surface last night of what concern some of the board members had over how far the proposed ordinance from last month went. So I think they came to a good resolution last night. I think I talked to some downtown business owners after the meeting, and they seemed very, very pleased to know that and people were encouraged last night. Folks I talked to were encouraged that, hey, that was good. We saw this work, and we feel heard, right? We feel like the Board of Mayor and Alderman heard us, and so that's what you want too, because again, I've said it on this show 1,000 times, but that's who we go to work for every day, right? I mean, we go to work for the citizens and customers of the city of Springfield, and so we need to be doing the business that they want us to do, and our Board of Mayor and Alderman understands that and knows that. That's what they're there for. So I think it was government in action last night, and even though government's action may be slow and sometimes it's not good at some things, that it does. I think seeing that last night was encouraging to me. I think it was encouraging to some of our citizens and business owners that I talked to after the meeting. So excited about that. We're not done with it yet because as we move slow, we have to bring back a legislative. I was talking to somebody on the phone yesterday, a business owner, and they said, "Okay, explain to me the difference." Thank you. The allergies are getting me this morning. I think
me too. I've been choking all morning.
It's that time of year,
Yeah.
and so talking to a business owner yesterday. They said, okay, you got to explain to me the difference between a code and an ordinance, right? Because they were trying to understand how the process worked, because, you know, that's if you don't do it, you wouldn't have any reason to know, right?
Exactly.
And I said, okay. I said, an ordinance becomes part of the code, right? I said, so think about a bill that becomes a law, right, on the state level or on the federal level, at the local level and municipal level, and an ordinance becomes a part of the municipal code.
Okay.
And so they were like, oh, okay, well, that helps make sense, right? And so we have an ordinance that'll come back next month in October and November. We require 2 votes on those things. And so I believe, and I trust that the board will get that done. And again, I think everybody, it was something that, I know there was some controversy. I think there was some communication breakdowns perhaps, and I talked to a couple business owners, and I think they missed the meeting, so they didn't know exactly what had happened and that sort of thing. But hey, happy ending.
There you go. Very
happy
good.
ending, and that's what counts, and that's kind of the moral to the story there. So that was our big item last night. We had some people that showed up to speak and provided public comment, which is also cool. You know, again, as a government that represents the people and serves the people have the opportunity to speak at the meeting, and that's really neat, right?
I just think it sounds like y'all had a great, just very good display of what you're supposed to do last night.
I think so. I feel good about it. Others may disagree, but another issue that we're facing that was addressed last night in a particular area of the city is on-street parking. So this has been a battle that has been going on for a few years now, because you know, we're an old city, right? And when you have streets that were created 100 years ago, and those widths, and even some of the subdivisions, had horses. Correct. Even when you know, subdivisions that were 30 years old or that sort of thing. I was talking to somebody, a full-size truck or a full-size SUV in 1998 is the size of a mid to small size SUV or mid-size truck today.
Ooh,
right? So think about a Chevrolet Tahoe.
Yeah.
A 98 Tahoe is the size of sticking with the Chevrolet example, a Traverse today, a mid-size SUV.
Right.
So what does that mean? That means the full-size SUVs and trucks are a lot larger, right? And the roads didn't get any wider.
Yeah.
So when you have on-street parking, you have lane blockage, you have that sort of thing in areas that were never contemplated or meant for that, right? And so there have been several subdivisions or areas of the city that have called their aldermen to ask about, hey, we've got this issue. Driveways are blocked. I can't get my trash cart picked up because the trash truck can't get to my trash cart, that sort of thing. So our traffic committee has been undertaking an effort to look at these various complaints and areas. And one that was addressed last night was on Hillside Drive. So this is just the latest one to be addressed. And some residents had complained about being able to see, turning out of Hillside Drive onto Bill Jones Industrial and turning on to Hillside. And so the Board of Mayor Aldermen did vote to restrict on-street parking last night on Hillside Drive. We're trying to tackle that and avoid that issue with some of the newer subdivisions. I think some of the newer subdivisions that have been approved aren't going to allow on-street parking from the get-go, and instead have maybe a lot somewhere that where if you have guests or if you have folks coming over for a birthday party or for Thanksgiving, then there's an area for them to park. We also upped the last year, maybe year before last, we upped the parking requirement for homes, upped it from I think 2.5 cars to 3.5 cars. So you had to have an ability for 3, which I know is a weird number, but it goes into garage size and driveway size. There's a formula there. And we upped that to create more off-street parking at the residence, right? And so then have a lot. So the Board of Mayor Alderman's taking that issue seriously, because I know residents have been kind of burdened and bothered in some areas with that. And so the traffic committee did that again last night.
Okay. And my kids live up in Mountain Juliet in a very tight community, and oh my goodness, parking is terrible. What you do when you have a bunch of folks come around, and where you going to put them. And so it is something you've got to address. Right now, they've got a cul-de-sac that hasn't been developed that works really good for parking, but they're going to put houses there. So I'm just wondering where in the world we're going to park, So I'm like, that means y'all need to come back to Robertson County. Come back to the farm, y'all.
It's just an issue.
It's a big issue.
That is, it's only going to get. I don't think vehicles are going to get any smaller.
No.
And so it's just an issue. I think that's going to continue to be problematic because vehicles just have gotten larger, roads haven't gotten wider, and so yeah, I think it's something that we're trying to get ahead of. We're tackling it. The Board of Mayor and Alderman's tackling it in certain areas, but also they're taking that into consideration in some of the newer subdivisions that have been approved to say, hey, let's just don't have an on-street parking problem from the get-go. Let's have a designated lot somewhere, and so they're trying to tackle that as well. On a bit of some good news, we did get the board did approve 2 grants last night from the state. One is a tourism grant from the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. We've had that conversation on the show before. What does tourism look like in Springfield? It takes many different forms. One of those we'll talk about here in a few minutes with First Friday, but tourism in Springfield is the notion behind it is people to come spend their money, right? And as Mayor Vogel famously said, and then they leave, right? And so that's what we try to promote those things. We just had a sit-down meeting with some of the local hotels because our goal is to drive stays. If we can drive stays to the local hotels, then people are going to spend money here, and that with our small businesses, and that grows our economy. And so we're fortunate to have a Main Street Tourism Coordinator on staff that's sole job is dedicated to growing our economy through downtown, economic growth and through tourism. And so working on a lot of good things coming up. And so we're grateful to get a grant there to help promote Springfield. Hey, with regard to grants, we'll take any grant anybody's giving out. I mean, if they're going to give out a grant, that money's going to go somewhere. It might as well come to Springfield, the way we look at it, right?
For sure.
The other grant that the board approved last night was a Tennessee Highway Safety Office grant. We've talked about here, I know, the amount of traffic accidents that we've had, the increase in DUIs. And the traffic accidents are related to impaired driving, but also distracted driving. And so the Tennessee Highway Safety Office grant allows us to do some increased traffic enforcement because we heard that. We heard the citizens say, hey, I've almost been hit. People are looking down. I'm tired, of I'm worried about when I send my daughter in her car to drive. I'm worried about that. I don't want her to be on this road because I see too many near misses or we've been hit, those type of things. And we did crack 600 accidents in Springfield for 3 years in a row. I mean, Now, fortunately, we're down a little bit this year. We're hoping that numbers stay down through the end of the year, but that's a lot.
You bet.
I mean, that's just a lot in Springfield. And so we heard the citizens that we needed to do something to make the roads safer, and Chief Jason Head and his staff have done a good job. And hey, it's not about tickets, right? It's not necessarily about writing tickets. It's about awareness too. And so they've done a really good job of raising awareness. And because some people say, well, I don't think about it. I just grab my phone, right? And I don't think about it. I'm not trying to break the law. I didn't think about it. I just my phone dinged and I grabbed it, right? And so it's that awareness, because you may be subconsciously grabbing your phone when it dings in the car, but stop, right?
Yeah, pull over.
Right, exactly. And so, or just let it be, or that sort of thing. So we're excited about the fact that we're trying to make the roads safer. And again, we'll take any grant we can get, and that grant from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office will do so. Speaking of the police department, to continue to kind of talk about that, we've had some news lately on our barriers because we finally were able to have First Friday events and deploy our barriers. We deployed them at Freedom Fest. I'm not sure if you saw that, those Archer barriers that we have. And
very cool.
So had a lot of feedback on that. Public says they feel safer. Had a lot of comments at First Friday about folks that are pleased to see that, and they feel safer in those events. And it's sad, LaVern, that we live in a time when we have to have those barriers, right? When there's folks that would drive a car through a crowd and with the intent to hurt people. But that's where we are. Yeah. And so it's our job to make things as secure as possible. And those barriers were a great investment by the taxpayers.
I was thrilled to see it. Thrilled.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
They're not cheap. They're not cheap at all. They're very, very expensive, but it's something that we evaluated alternatives and evaluated what we're doing, not what we were doing prior. And our board of mayor and aldermen felt on behalf of the citizens that it was a wise investment for us to make those events safe downtown. And so I kudos to Chief Head for doing research and gathering data. It took about a year or so to a year and a half to get that done. And they did a great job, and I think our downtown events are now safer as a result of that.
For sure, for sure. What else you got? I don't want to run out of time.
Okay.
Make sure you get it all in. Keep going.
We'll get it. So we've got a lot of folks have been asking about the Garner Street Playground. I don't think we'll get to everything today, but that's okay. We'll try to hit some highlights on the way out here. Garner Street Playground, for those that were aware, it had been down there. It opened, and then it closed. We closed it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the new playground. The Garner Street Park is open. The dog park's open. The pickleball courts, which are phenomenal. The skate park, everything is, and the new restroom pavilion is open. The Garner Street Park playground, the new playground down there, it opened. There were some things that we didn't like that didn't turn out, I think, the way that we thought and expected them to do based on the plans. You've had Terry Martin on the show.
We talked about some of the specifics too.
Yeah, and you know that his standards are high. I mean, for the quality of product that he wants our citizens to enjoy. And so he actually called me and said, I need you to come down here, and went down there. We looked at it, and we both agreed, said, no, this is not what we paid for. So we closed it to allow the contractor to come in and replace some stuff and do some things differently to make it be what we thought it was going to be. So the good news is that should be done in the next week or so. We'll finally be able to open that playground permanently for folks to enjoy because it's beautiful. It looks good, and we're excited about opening that and having that offering down at Garner Street Park.
Very good.
Speaking of First Fridays, our last First Friday event of the year will be coming up on October the 3rd. The band will be 10 Year Town, and they've been here before. They're great, another crowd favorite. This is one of those fortunate things. Of course, we almost made it through an entire First Friday event last month. The lightning kind of got us there at the end, but we almost made it through a full one again. And so we're hoping for cooperative weather. That's just been a challenge this year.
It really has been.
It didn't rain for a month, and then it rained on the first Friday.
I know, it was crazy, but
we had even with the forecast wasn't that great, but we had about 4,000 people downtown.
Wow.
We were able to track those numbers and had about 4,000 people downtown, and so and that was exciting. That's big for our downtown economy, right?
Yeah.
That's a big deal, and to let people know what goes into that, we are fortunate through. I don't know if you know. Blake Pierce, the EMA deputy director.
Yes.
Okay, so Blake has a meteorology sort of background, if you will, but he has, with his connections to the National Weather Service, we get a special briefing just for that event every month through the National Weather Service. So there's a lot that goes into making sure, because we had phone calls like, hey, the weather doesn't look good. And we're like, oh, no, the National Weather Service said we are good tonight, at least to try to get it going.
We got a window.
And so we do. There's a lot that goes into that. Obviously, safety, just like the barrier, safety is the number one priority. Went as long as we could, and then the lightning got too close, and when it hits a certain radius, then we've got to call it and allow people time to get out of there and get to shelter and get to their cars. So anyway, good stuff. Last thing I'll mention, I know we're running out of time, is Coffee with a Cop. I want to talk about that because that's coming up tomorrow.
Okay.
Coffee with a Cop, the fall series for that returns. It's at Deja Mu at 8:30 tomorrow morning, I believe is what I had written down. Deja Mu tomorrow, a historic perk next month, which I believe is on October the 2nd, because I think they have it every 2 weeks, I think, during the fall. If you have an opportunity, stop by, visit with the police officers. They would love to talk to you. It's a good way for those relationships to be established, and for folks who just kind of, you mentioned earlier, communication.
Yeah.
Communication goes a long way, and so with those relationships, we're still a small town, and we want to remain with that feel where we can communicate with each other, right? And that's what Coffee with a Cop is all about. Again, kudos to them for hosting that event and being willing to say, hey, let's sit down and have a conversation. You want to know what we do? Then we'll tell you what we do, or we may have some questions for you, and just have a good community conversation.
I love it. And, the Citizens Police Academy is coming up, too.
It is.
And Chief Head he wants Mark and I to do it together. And we've got a wedding coming up.
Uh-oh.
I told him we're going to wait till next year. So, but I am going to cover it as much as I possibly can, because they're super excited about that.
Yeah.
And that's a cool thing. Have you ever done it?
I have not. Well, I'm there because I usually have to attend.
Yeah, exactly. So you're there, but it's. I want to do it, and I really hate we can't do it this year, but I do want to get some reports on it. So somebody that's doing it needs to come in and check in with me.
Yeah.
So I can get the updates, because and Chief Head was like, we got great food too, LaVern. Come on.
Yeah.
I was like, but anyway, I think that's getting ready to gear up too. So.
Sure is.
Well, very good. Anything else before we make our way out? Did you get most of it in?
I did. We got most of it. We had a long agenda last night, but follow us on social media. Our citizen newsletter is a way to stay informed. We just want you to know what your government's doing.
Right, and if you want to see everything, it's on. You can go in and see the whole meeting.
Whole meeting. We live stream on YouTube. All of that. It's all there. If you can't make it in person, we live stream it where you can watch it whenever, however we want to.
Very good.
Thank you.
And we'll see all y'all at the fair too. The fair's going on, so that's a big thing. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan Martin, our city manager here in Springfield. So be sure and just check out anything, and call his office if you have any questions. And I will be back with you tomorrow. But Lee Marie is coming in here for another full hour of local programming on the Go Show. So stay tuned. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a wonderful day.